Hi, everybody. Mr. Moss.
Mr. Levine.
How's everybody doing today? So, today we're going to be kind of introducing ourselves to the Revolutionary War period because we want an understanding as to how the United States got the government that they have. We need to understand the years leading up to the American Revolution as well as the Revolution itself. So, we're going to be looking at timeline from the 1760s all the way through to the early 1780s over the course of the next couple days. So we're going to begin by taking a look at our key terms. First key term that we're going to be taking a look at is what's called a colony. A colony is an area that is controlled by or belongs to a country. So, for example, in the years leading up to the United States gaining its independence from Great Britain, Massachusetts was one of the original 13 British colonies that later became the United States. So, like, Massachusetts was a colony, New York was a colony, Virginia was a colony. Basically, many of the East Coast states were colonies.
All right, so our next term is salutary neglect. So, salutary neglect is the policy the British government had for the American colonies before its relationship got bad. So, the technical definition is this meant the American colonies were pretty much left to themselves. So, we can see we have some silly memes here on the side to help us explain, right? I wear my sunglasses so I can't see what those colonies over in America are up to for now, anyways. And salutary neglect, do what you want, I don't care. But as we'll see and as we see in our study, right, that salutary neglect, it's a little tough to say, it changes, right, and it really goes away once Britain is in a financial struggle and need money, and they look at the colonies and say, okay, now time for you guys to pay up.
Mm-hmm. All right, so next up we have what's called mercantilism. So this is a particular term over here that we're going to see when it comes to the years leading up to the Revolutionary War era. And then in addition to that, we're going to see this will pop up in some of your later social studies classes. So mercantilism, that's when products are manufactured in colonies. So products manufactured in colonies, they provide a way for the so-called mother country to create wealth for itself. So, for example, how did Great Britain make more money? Well, they made more money by relying upon its colonies to ship more of the goods, more resources to them. So we can see what's going on in that political cartoon, Mr. Levine.
So we can see that they have the mother country who'd be representing Britain sitting at the dinner
Right
table,
over there.
and then they have the colonies serving, right, the mother country, their gold, their silver, their foodstuff, their raw materials, these valuable products that the colonies were generating, then being, as you can see in the political cartoon, being served up on a literal platter to the mother country, in this case, Great Britain.
Mm-hmm. All right, so next up, we're going to see the words coercive and intolerable. Those are oftentimes used in the same way when it comes to describing some of the decisions or some of the things that the British did to the American colonists. So when something's coercive, that means using threats to make someone do something. Or intolerable, that means something so bad, so hard, so severe. So we're going to see that there's going to be some pieces of legislation, some laws passed for the American colonies that they felt were both coercive and intolerable.
All right. So our next term is Parliament. So Parliament is a group of lawmakers, legislators, in Great Britain who made decisions for England as well as its colonies, like the 13 American colonies. So they were making rules and making decisions 3,000 miles away from the colonies. As you can imagine, that led to some problems in their future.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. And does Parliament still exist today?
It sure does.
Oh, wow.
It sure does.
But do they make decisions for the American colonies?
No, they make decisions for the British people.
For the British people, yeah, because again, America is independent now. So next up, we have import. Imports are going to be very, very important when it comes to America's relationship with Great Britain. An import is a product brought into a country to be sold there. So, for example, Mr. Levine, you got a phone?
Sure do.
I got a phone. Mr. Levine's got a phone. These phones were not made in the United States. Most iPhones, they're made in China. So, an iPhone, an example, is an iPhone that is made in China, shipped to the United States to be sold there, is an example of an import. It's brought into the United States for us to buy.
All right. So the next little pairing of terms is rebel and revolt. So to rebel is to rise up and fight against something, such as government. So similar terms, as we mentioned, rebel, revolt, right? They're very similar. They people who are rising up and fighting against something. And then revolution is the attempt or movement to rise up against the government. So if someone is trying to start a revolution, they are going to rebel and revolt. They're all sort of very similar and related to one another.
Mm-hmm. All right. We have act and declaration. So we're going to see that again during this time period, there's going to be many acts that are passed for the American colonists, many declarations issued. An act, that's a law made by a group of legislators. So it's a law made by a group of lawmakers. And a declaration is something that is said in an official way. So maybe if the Americans want to become an independent country, they might need to declare their independence.
Sounds like
they might need to issue a declaration or something.
And our next term here is Continental Congress. The Continental Congress was a group of leaders in the American colonies who made decisions before and during the American Revolution against Great Britain. So this was a group of individuals who had to make very important and very controversial, so that means potentially upsetting to some people, decisions about what they should do moving forward. Because the idea of breaking away from Great Britain was popular amongst some colonists, but not all colonists. Some people were still fairly loyal to Britain and to the British king.
Mm-hmm. All right, so everybody, I want to thank you very much. Have a good day.
Thank you.